Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am bringing you my January TBR, January 2025. It's pretty crazy to say that. I can't even believe it's almost the new year. At the time that I'm filming this, it's not even Christmas yet. So when you see this, Christmas will have happened. So there are some things in this TBR that I've picked based on what I think I'm going to finish in December, and just looking ahead at January where I think I'll be. And I'm fairly confident about that. But I have also been structuring my TBRs in a very specific way, and I have 5 categories. I don't know how I still ended up with 6 books, but I have 5 categories technically that I pick from, that I choose a book for each of these categories. And in case you're wondering, this has been going really well for me. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think maybe because I'm forced to choose a small amount of books for a TBR and just making my TBRs more realistic. But this is really working. Like, I'm actually finishing books now. Whereas I feel like before, if it was like too free, if I gave myself too much freedom, this is gonna sound so weird. If I gave myself too much freedom, I just wouldn't be as productive. And you know what? We're gonna go with that. Apparently I need structure to do anything. So I do have 3 of these books that have bled over from December. So we'll just jump right into it. That's enough blabbering from me. The first book is one I'm currently reading, but I'm still towards the beginning, and that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. And let me tell you, what a way to start a book. The first chapter of this novel is wild and brutal and heartbreaking, all in the first chapter, which is not even very long. Like, it's like 10 pages, like not even 10 pages. She really pulled me in with the beginning of this book. Already an incredibly fascinating world. So there's this world that kind of lives in this bubble. It's like a bubble that's protected by magic, and this whole city kind of lives in this bubble. And outside of the bubble is something called the Blight, which basically kills people in a very brutal and disturbing way. So we are introduced right away to kind of the perils of this world. The politics of this world are like, you're basically seeing them immediately. And I just feel like Emma Wong she just like cuts to the chase. And I feel this more inside Sword of Kaigen. When I read Sword of Kaigen, I didn't feel like she cut to the chase. I felt like there was a lot of like initial info dumping, and then we had the story, and the story was really good. But with this, I can definitely tell she has honed her craft a bit more. And it's not just telling at the beginning. You are shown what's going on, and this very kind of dystopian magical world. And so our main character is, I don't know how to pronounce it, I think it's Siona, and Siona is wanting to be the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistracy at the University of Magics and Industry. And so basically no woman has like passed a certain exam. They only allow 1 woman every 2 years or something. I don't remember. I think it's like 1 woman every 2 years can just take the test, and no woman has ever passed. So that's kind of the premise, but just fascinating already. Pulled me right in. Could barely sleep the night that I started it because I was so interested in what was going to happen. So we will finish that in January. And next up, I'm just still gonna work my way through the short stories of Elizabeth Gaskell in this particular edition. This is a Wordsworth edition. And so I am going to work on that. I actually haven't read anything from it in December, so I didn't really touch it in December, unfortunately, since I finished Cranford in November. But I have this on the docket, so I just thought I would mention it. It is something I want to just gradually work through. And then one more has carried over from December, and that is the final revival of Opal and Nev by Donnie Walton, which is a book that I got in a Book of the Month box in 2021. So this has been languishing on my shelf for a really long time. This follows an African-American woman who is a musician in the 70s, early 70s in New York City. And so it's a historical fiction. I haven't ever looked up a review of this, and I don't really remember seeing anyone talk about it. So honestly, going in this one fairly blind, but looking forward to trying it. And so those three were also on my December TBR. Now they're on my January TBR also. But if we finish those, the next things, well, I definitely won't finish this one, but I will be starting Words of Radiance, my reread of Words of Radiance. I will be starting it in January, and I'm excited for this because this one has always been my proclaimed favorite in the series, and we're going to find out if that is still the case. Yeah, I don't know if it will be or not, but I'm hopeful that it will be, and that I'll just want to read this really fast and I won't take an entire year like I did with Way of Kings. So yeah, hoping this will only take me like 2 months tops to read. We'll see. That's the goal. But yeah, excited to start Words of Radiance, and I will be actually reading this on my Kindle, not this physical copy. It'll be my Kindle read going forward. And then we'll go to this one. So one of the categories that I always am going to be reading through is picking a continuing series that I'm in the middle of, and I'm not in the middle of as many as I thought. I'm in the middle of 7 if you include my reread of the Stormlight Archives. And so I basically did a list, and I did a random generator. I told Google to pick a number between 1 and 6 because I was already going to read this, so I didn't count that. And then I went to my list and I picked which number I had that series listed. And so this month it picked 6, which the 6th series that I'm in the middle of right now is my Twilight reread, and then getting into the new books. This was written in 2010, so it's not really new anymore. But I never continued. I was a person that read Breaking Dawn when it came out, and then I just never like kept in touch with what was happening with Stephenie Meyer after that. Once I read Breaking Dawn, I just thought it was done. And I didn't know that there were more until Midnight Sun came out, and then I found out that there were actually 2 other books that Stephenie Meyer wrote technically before Midnight Sun. And so my goal has been to get to Midnight Sun, but I did just want to do this sequentially. So I spent the last 2 years rereading the Twilight, the first 4 books. I reread Breaking Dawn last year, at the very beginning of last year. So I think it's fitting that I'm reading this in January, because I think I finished Breaking Dawn of January 2024. And so I'm glad that this was picked. This one is kind of an odd one. The short second life of Bree Tanner. From what I remember, Bree Tanner is like a very minor side character who shows up in Eclipse and who isn't around very long. And so I'm not sure why Stephenie Meyer picked this character to write a novella about. I mean, how many pages is this? It's not like a short novella. I mean, it's 165 pages or so. So I'm like, how, like, she wasn't in Eclipse very much. Like, I don't know. And so, basically she was a newborn vampire, and I guess Stephenie Meyer must have wanted to, like, explore the world of the newborn vampires more, is what I'm assuming. I don't know. It should be it should be interesting. I will report back. I don't know what to make of this one. I just realized how much these covers match. Look at that. We have a black and red theme for January. And then I have one more book on this TBR, and that is White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is the group read for Tiffany's Patreon at the channel A Beautiful Minutia, and I am trying to be better about participating in the Patreons that I'm in, and I'm only in 2, so I feel like I can do it if I'm just gonna like flip-flop between the 2. So I'm gonna participate in this one. I enjoy Dostoevsky very much. I have read a couple of his novels, Crime and Punishment and The Brothers Karamazov. And this is a short story. I believe it's only 80 pages, and it's about a man who visits a city, I think a city that he's familiar with, and he meets a young lady, and it's about unrequited love and perhaps pining and loneliness versus being with someone, something like that. I'm not really sure. I read a very short synopsis. So it is Dostoevsky, so it should be very interesting, and it should be written really well. I'm curious to read a short work because I haven't read anything short by Dostoevsky. Everything I've read has been quite lengthy. Those are all the books that I'm planning on getting to, hopefully in January. And we'll see how many I can get to and which ones are going to roll over into February. But I think this is a good stack of books. I think I have like a wide variety of things and some just very, I don't know, just some very eclectic things. It's all over the board, and that's how I like my TBRs to be. And so it should be fun. How are you starting the new year? What books are you starting your year with? I would love to know down in the comments, and I would also love to know if you've read any of these, if you have any thoughts, if you're excited about any of these for my reading, if you think I'm gonna like any of them, or if you think I'm gonna hate them all, you can tell me that too. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I hope your new year is joyous and you are just going to be thriving in 2025. I hope I'm going to be thriving in 2025. It's always a fun time of year though. I always love New Year's and just like all of the fresh opportunities that you feel like you have, even though it's an illusion basically, but that's okay. I like to live in the illusion. So I love New Year's. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching today, and keep reading great books. Until next time, bye-bye.